everybody, Tanya from ShootingStarSVG back, and today I want to talk to you about Canva's updated terms of service and licensing uses for SVGs and your digital downloads business. So if this is your first time here, go ahead and click on like and subscribe below, as that does keep me motivated to continue making these videos so that way you can grow your business and change your life. And if you haven't already, go on over and join the Facebook group where we are creating a community of like-minded individuals looking to grow their semi-passive income with digital downloads. I have seen a lot of videos lately on YouTube, and I'm sorry I have been out of here. I've been wedding planning, kids start school, vacation, all this crazy stuff, and I'm finally getting back into the swing, really focusing on course creation, particularly Affinity Designer. So if y'all want to learn how to actually create SVGs and not have to rely on a program like this, feel free to check out the course website. You can check that out up above. Anyway, I wanted to come back to this because I created a video back in 2020 about Canva terms of use. And I mean, it was a fairly popular video. I think it has about 7,800 views or something like that. Kind of going through Canva's licensing terms. And I was on Canva yesterday, thinking around doing some research, because I've been seeing all these videos about, creating SVGs on Canva and, creating digital downloads for selling from Canva and all this stuff. And I'm like, oh God, these people aren't reading the license terms. They're not reading them still. And I try to educate the masses as much as I can. I don't recommend utilizing Canva's stock images. Their license has gotten a little bit clearer to understand, but first I will preface with, I am not a freaking lawyer. I'm not. So everything that I say in this video, you cannot hold against me. This is my opinion, strictly my opinions. Make sure you're doing your research, and if you're really unsure, reach out to Canva or get an attorney to help you understand the license agreements, okay? Because I'm not a lawyer. Nope, I'm an engineer. I barely understand English as an engineer, so my opinion, okay? And how I interpret things, not a lawyer. So I'm going to head over to my computer screen. We're going to have a chat about this because I just don't think Canva is the way to go. I understand where they're coming from, but in terms of like just creating digital downloads, even just branding, okay? So we're going to break this down. This video is going to be a little bit longer than my typical videos. Hopefully you guys watch it through. I'm going to break it down. I'm going to show you how to get over to their terms of use and their licensing, what my opinion is on things, and we'll kind of rock and roll from there, all right? So I'm going to head over to my computer screen and we will get started. If you guys are curious to know what the license was like back at the time that I uploaded this video, which was end of 2020, feel free to check that video up above. You will notice the major differences between then and now. And I can only presume the reason why these changes happened is because so many people were flooding Canva's inbox as digital creators to try to make sure that they were following the rules, okay? I can only hope that is the reason why. So it definitely is a little bit easier to read. However, it has some really interesting nuances to it, okay? So I'll post that video up above for y'all to check out, all right? But for you to get to where you need to go, you need to be logged into Canva. And yep, here's my wedding invitation down here. You would have to go up to the Help Center, okay? And click on this Help. This is gonna pop up the Help Center. And if you were to scroll all the way down, you can click on Terms, okay? And I'll post the link to on how to get here in the description box as well for everybody. Now, there's a ton of different policies in here as far as acceptable use, accessibility, privacy notices, application terms, all these different things, okay? Things about contributors, if you're a contributor, intellectual property policy, license agreements, which is what we're going to look into, and terms of use, which are effective as of July 18th, 2022. So I'm going to go ahead and open the terms of use in a new tab, and I'm going to open up the license agreements in a new tab. So with the terms of use, which they've updated as of July 18th, 2022, so very recent, these terms of use apply to you utilizing the platform, okay? So it kind of just goes through on how you are allowed to use the service, access, and acceptable use. Acceptable use just kind of goes through the things that you can and cannot do on the website as far as what your designs go. You also have information on restrictions on the use of service, security and data privacy, content, and designs. So interestingly here, user content, you represent and warrant that you own all rights, title, and interest in and to your user content, that you have otherwise secured all necessary rights in your user content as may be necessary to permit the access, use, and distribution thereof as contemplated by these terms. Okay? So basically, when you're saying that when you upload content to Canva, whether it be other SVGs, fonts, whatever, you own the rights to that content. So that is very important. Now, you also have a short little blurb here on licensed content. And it says you may use licensed content in connection with the service, and the use of this is subject to additional license rights and restrictions, which is set forth in the content license agreement, which is what we have open in this tab here. This is going to be the meat and potatoes of this particular video, is the license agreement, okay? The applicable license right and restrictions vary depending on the type and source of the content, okay? So basically they're saying, hey, we have a ton of content and you have some restrictions. Make sure you understand this. So we're actually going to open up this licensing explained and see if that's different than, you know, what we also have up here. Again, they talk about designs and how it can be a combination of your content and licensed content, but any designs containing licensed content have to fall into the content license agreement, okay? And then sharing and publishing your designs, they talk about that. Printing your designs, you know, it's kind of like the same thing. Then they talk about website utilization and some other things about billing and things of that nature. So that's all I'm really going to go through in the terms of use. Feel free to go ahead and comb through that. Not a lot of people read terms of use these days, but it is very important because sometimes there's critical information buried in this information, okay? So let me go back up here. And we are going to go into license agreements now. So they have two license agreement. This is for team subscription service agreement. So this is if you have multiple people on your account. I'm not getting into that today. We're going to get into the content license agreement. So we're going to go ahead and click on read more. That's the same tab that I had just opened up. Okay. Now they talk again about their library of content to utilize in your designs. This is what kills me because this 1 and 2 have changed so drastically. They've definitely dumbed the words down, and I'm just going to zoom in so y'all can see this better. But it's just really interesting. Okay, so basics. Let's go through the basics. Number 1, the basics. So Canva offers a library of amazing content to use in your designs, including photos, icons, illustrations, blah, 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 called content. If you're using any of the content that is supplied by Canva, you're bound to the agreement, no matter what. All right? So if you don't agree to the terms of the agreement, don't use the content. You can cancel or change the licenses granted by this agreement, and they can replace the content with an alternative at any time. So that's to say, if you create a template and utilize their piece of content and you are selling that on Etsy, Canva gets rid of that piece of content. Guess what? That is going to be removed from your template and can potentially be replaced with something different. If you create a Canva design with both free content and pro content, the stricter rules apply. So if you're utilizing a pro account, we always say use free content, because if you don't and somebody's utilizing your template, then it will show up watermarked if it is a template. Now, if you are using Canva to create, let's just say, posters or invitations where people cannot actively edit, and you use free and pro content because you have a pro account, the pro account rules will apply, okay? So all content on Canva is protected by United States and international copyright. Canva and its contributors reserve all rights that aren't explicitly given to you under this license. That includes all copyright and intellectual property rights. So they're enacting DMCA, which is the Digital Millennial Copyright Act, as well as what's going on in their terms of use and their license agreement. So it's interesting. Now, this is where I was like flabbergasted last night. Mind you, it was like 10 o'clock. I'm reading this and I'm just like, you gotta be kidding me. It's just super complicated now. Super duper complicated. So here we go. Free content licenses. What license apply to free content? Okay, well first you have to check the source by hovering over the content in the object panel and then clicking the info icon in the toolbar. Let me show you what this looks like. All right, I'm gonna go to Canva Home. We're gonna go to create a design. I'm just gonna do an invitation. And let's just say I want to use a photo. I would have to hover over this, click on this, and go to info. And it says this is free content, so who cares? All right, let me see if I can find some pro content on here. Let's do this. Let's apply filters. All right, let's check this out. Free for Canva Pro, info. See, they're trying to tell me that if I hover over this, I should be able to see the information on the creator. Getty Images signatures. Okay. Canva said here that check the source by hovering over the content. If the free content comes from Pixabay, please reference the Pixabay license. If the free content comes from Pexels, refer to their license. If it's CCO or public domain, refer to their license. And if it isn't from Pixabay, Pexels, or CCO, it's covered by free. So you're required, if you're utilizing the content, to check if it's from one of these sources. That is so exhausting. So exhausting. I don't have time for that. Okay? That's for free content. Pro content, aka one design use license. Under the terms of this agreement, we grant you a perpetual, non-exclusive, non-transferable, worldwide license to pro content or template in a single Canva design for the permitted uses defined in section 5 and 7 below. So to get a license, when you a license is issued to you when you export a Canva design for each piece of content contained in your design. Free content license are issued at no cost. Pro content licenses are issued by paying if you are a free user or at no additional cost if you have a valid Canva subscription. So if you have the pro account, you don't have to worry. If you have a free account, you're going to have to pay some money. Each pro content license allows you to use the content in one Canva design, so you may pay to obtain a new license each time you wish to use the same piece of content in a new design, okay? Including a design that has been magic resized. Oh my God. Okay, that's really interesting. So if you're on a free account, you're using Pro, you pay for a license, you want to resize it down to like from a 10 by 10 to a 4 by 4, you have to pay for another license. If you have a subscription, then a new license is automatically issued to you each time you export a new design containing the content. So this really only applies to free accounts. If you have a paid for Pro account, it doesn't really matter. They're saying you have unlimited license. But if you have free, it's messy. So trust me when I say, if you have a free account, be careful. Additional rights for client designs. You may transfer a Canva design containing content for your Pro to a client for the client's own use, subject to the following terms. Written agreement with your client that stipulates the client's use of the Canva design must only be used for their use and must be in accordance with these terms. I'm telling you what, people are not doing this. There's no way. Because basically, if you were to create like a poster and then sell it on Etsy and somebody buys it, and then that person turns around and decides to extract a piece of clip art out of it and then use that on a design and sell that, how's Canva really going to trace that? One. But two, I don't know. Seems... Ugh. You will remain solely responsible and liable for your client's compliance with these terms, and a Canva design incorporating content can only be transferred to a single client. So what does a single client mean? If you're selling the same design multiple times on Etsy, that's multiple clients. So is that considered a client design? I'm not sure. Seems a little sketch to me. Here we go here. But Section 5, permitted uses of all content on Canva except Pro Music. These are the things this agreement permits you to do or to make with Canva designs that contain content for your Pro. So, invitations, advertising, and promotional products included printing, materials, product packaging, presentations, film and video presentations, commercials, catalogs, brochures, greeting cards, and postcards for promotion and or resale without any reproduction quantity limit. School or university projects, social media post or profile image, decorative background on a personal computer or mobile device. Notice personal. Design templates solely for use on Canva. So they're saying that design templates that you only use on Canva are okay to sell. That makes sense, because if they didn't write that in there, it would be a mess. Entertainment applications such as books and book covers, magazines, newspapers, editorials, newsletters, and video broadcasts and theatrical presentations of unlimited prints. online or electronic publications, including web pages, blogs, ebooks, and videos in the case of pro content subject to the restrictions in section 5A. All right, so we're saying you can use this, but P.S. read 5A. Print, posters, and other reproductions for personal or promotional purposes, resale, license, or other distribution. Any other uses approved in writing by Canva. So if you're not sure, you can always reach out to Canva and say, hey, this is what I'm trying to do. If they email you back and say, yep, it's totally fine, save that email, because if they turn around and try to do something, you are covering your ass, okay? So here is section 5 alpha, limits on use of pro content in online publications. The use of pro content in online or electronic publications, including web pages, blogs, ebooks, and videos, is limited to a maximum of 480,000 total pixels per content file where unedited, unless the use is on a website published via Canva and a Canva-hosted design that is embedded on a third-party website. And in that case, the pixel limit shall not apply. All right. Stranger Day things was something they did in 2021, so that doesn't matter. Additional permitted uses for free content only. Okay? Use the free content in more than one Canva design without obtaining additional license. Download the free content on a standalone basis. Use the free content and templates for websites, social networking websites, documents, projects, or otherwise for distribution and or sale to third parties. So this might be where you get around it for third parties. Design template applications intended for resale, whether online or not, including without limitation, website templates, flash templates, business card templates, electronic greeting card templates, and brochure and design templates. Okay? And install and use the free content in more than one location or post a copy of the content on a network server or a web server for use by people employed by or performing services for you. If your Canva design contains any pro content, you can't use it for these purposes. Then they go through pro music. That's not really important. Section 9 is really where it gets interesting because this is where it talks about its prohibited uses, and this is where we want to pay attention, okay? All the stuff that you can use it for sounds all well and good, but the prohibited uses is where you definitely want to take your time, okay? Sublicense, resell, rent, lend, assign, gift, or otherwise transfer or distribute the content or the rights granted under this content license agreement, subject to section 4 alpha. So what does this exactly mean? If we're transferring, okay, otherwise transfer. When I read this as an engineer who doesn't know jack diddly about legal or English, otherwise transfer or distribute the content, that says you cannot do that. Use any of the content as part of a trademark, design mark, trade name, business name, or service mark, excluding fonts. So if you're taking elements from Canva and creating somebody's logo, guess what? You cannot sell that. Use the content as identified as editorial use only for any commercial, promotional, endorsement, advertising, or merchandising use. In this agreement, editorial use only means relating to the events that are newsworthy or of general interest and expressly excludes any advertorial use. Remove any notice of copyright, trademark, or other proprietary right. Use or display the content on a standalone basis on websites or other venues designed to induce or involving the sale, license, or other distribution of on-demand products, including postcards, mugs, t-shirts, posters, and other items. That's saying you cannot take their elements, create something, slap it up on something for POD, and sell it. So if you are creating your designs in Canva and then transferring them over for print on demand without heavily altering them, you are violating the terms of use. Okay. Use the content in a way that is pornographic. This is all R-rated stuff, okay? Use the content in a way that places any person in a bad light or a bad way. So this comes to like, you know, people content. Use the content in a manner that competes with Canva's business, including but not limited to displaying content in any format, including thumbnails for download or export on a website or offering content for sale. Use the content for editorial purposes without including credit. Incorporate the content in any product that results, this is the important one, in a redistribution or reuse of the content or is otherwise made available in a manner such that the person can extract or access or reproduce the content as an electronic file. Y'all, when we're selling digital files, guess what? They can extract it, especially if it's an SVG. So all of these videos out here saying you can create SVGs in Canva and then go sell them, are a load of BS. And the reason why is because if you are selling an SVG with Canva's content, I'm not talking about just straight text or font, you're violating that section 10 right there. That is my opinion. Again, I am not a lawyer, but by reading that, I would not go near it with a 10-foot freaking pole, and I will be running for the hills. Okay? Anytime if the source code is contained within the content, reverse engineered, decompiled, or disassembled any part of the source code, use or display the content electronic format that enables it to be downloaded or exported or distributed via mobile devices or shared in any peer-to-peer or similar file sharing arrangement, and any manner that gives the impression that the content was created by you. All right? So this number 10 is very important, such that a person can extract. We talk about this a lot in the design world, especially because it's such a fine line. You need to learn how to create your own things. That's why I've created these courses on Inkscape, and I'm working on Affinity Designer, and I'll be looking into other programs moving forward so that people can do this on any and all budgets. I mean, Inkscape is a free to use program. Affinity Designer is mid-grade, and who knows, maybe I'll go teach one of the freaking high-grade ones. But personally, I'm super happy with Inkscape. I'm super happy with Affinity Designer. Why do I need anything else? Okay. Violation. So they keep track of your designs in your account to make sure you're not breaking the license or the terms. It might be monitoring downloads and exports, retaining details of your Canva designs, and tracking abuse of your new username and password. And if you break the license, they can suspend or terminate. If it's terminated, you will lose all rights to the content in Canva designs and must delete everything. And you can terminate your content license by destroying the content in Canva design. People have the right to file for infringement. If there's a claim of infringement of another's right for Canva, which may be liable, you would have to stop using the content. And you can also let Canva know by emailing them. So I'm pausing because it's just changed so much, and almost the sense that how it was written 2 years ago to now, to me, this is like, there's so much clarity here. As people who are selling digital downloads, that this is a horrible idea if you're using their content. I have a pro account. I mean, y'all see it on here, okay? But I use my pro account to create templates, or I actually closed this shop down because it just wasn't bringing in enough for me, okay? And I use it for social media templates. So if you go into my projects, I have a ton of different pin templates in here because I subscribe to Carly every month, and she supplies these templates that I can use and edit for my Pinterest. And so if you're interested in Carly's subscription, it's like, I don't know how much it is a month. It's not that expensive. And yeah, I mean, you get high quality pins that you can use in Canva or PicMonkey. And to me, it's just worth the money because I don't have time to sit here and do all these designs. I can do it. I just don't have time. So I'll drop the link below for Carly's, her course on Pinterest, which is awesome. But also how you can utilize these Pinterest pin templates that you can purchase by packs, or you can just sign up for her monthly subscription where she sends them out every month. Definitely worth it. Is an affiliate link, so I'll get a little bit of kickback if you purchase through my link. But I'm telling you what, she's fantastic, responds to everything, and is great when it comes to Pinterest. So I'll get off my soapbox now. But that's the big reason why I have the Canva, pro account. And I created my wedding invitation. So I'm sorry, the F word's in there. My mom's not too happy about that, but whatever. I'm able to do stuff like that. And I use it for newsletters for work and things of that nature. So to me, it's worth the $13. It's a tax write-off, so it's not a huge deal to me. All right. Now, Canva does have this Canva licensing explained page, and it talks about the free and pro. And then it talks about pro license content. So you can pay $1 to use a piece of pro content in a design. You get the pro content license. You need to pay to use the same piece of content in a different design. So you're paying $1 every time. And it talks about what's allowed. So it's trying to break this down, right? You can use our content in a Canva design for a wide range of personal and commercial uses. Cannot use the content in marketing or social media, or even sell merchandise with your design on it. Cannot sell merchandise with your design on it. So we just went through the POD stuff, all right? Do not resell, redistribute, or take credit for the content provided through Canva. They talk about using the content in your designs. So it says basically by using the content, you're creating something unique. Once you do, there are very few restrictions on what you can do with your creations. Go wild. Standalone content, like a photo used on its own here, without any other elements, has restrictions. It can't be printed on products or merchandise for sale. But this is okay, I guess. Trademarks and logos, it has to be a unique symbol which is exclusively used by a brand owner. For that reason, you can't use any free or pro content from Canva's library. So, like, this is not okay, but what they're doing over here, I guess, is okay because you're creating your own coffee beans in the middle of this logo, so that's fine. But you couldn't just use this. You can use their fonts, you can use the basic shapes and lines, and you can upload your own graphics. But, I mean, honestly, if you're a logo designer, don't use Canva. Just use Inkscape or Affinity. Unless it's a template created for use on Canva, you can't use the pro content in templates of any nature. If you're a template designer, you can go and check out the Canva Creators Program here. So if you are selling templates, not only can you sell on Etsy or design bundles, but you can also sell your templates on Canva's Creator Program. And then it talks about music. So, and then there's some fact in here about this. It's just, they boil it down. Basically what I just did. They kind of try to boil it down in this agreement, but it's still kind of blurred because there's a lot more detail in this license agreement. Again, I know this video is pretty long, but I feel like it's super important to go through these things with everybody because the education just is lacking. I'm going to be having some more of these content license agreement talks over the next couple weeks because, quite frankly, I'm just very frustrated with Etsy right now. I'm pissed off, so I haven't really felt motivated to do too many videos on what's going on with Etsy. I've had 3 shops running. I've closed one because it just wasn't picking up any traction. And then the other 2 are doing okay, but they're still down about 20% from last year, which is horrible because last year I was down. So I'm just continually seeing less and less sales. I'd much rather put more focus on the YouTube creation than anything else. So that's what I'm doing. But anyways, if y'all have any questions about the content license, feel free to reach out to me. Again, I'm not a lawyer by any means, but feel free to drop your questions in a comment box below and I'll try to get back to you. And definitely reach out to Canva if you have any advice. They're usually pretty quick to respond. Not clearly, but it is what it is. So if you got something out of this video, please go ahead and click on like and subscribe below, as that does keep me motivated to continue making these videos so that way you can grow your business and change your life. And again, if you haven't already, head on over to that Facebook group where we are creating a community of like-minded individuals looking to grow their semi-passive income with digital downloads. If there's any content you'd like to see, let me know. I will get that on the list. I will catch y'all on the next video. ShootingStarSVG, signing out.